Beautiful beings of the universe, hello and welcome to Now. Another great lesson that I wanted to share with you from this amazing book that I've been studying, Warrior of Light by Paulo Coelho. So he says that each warrior of the light contains within him the spark of God. His destiny is to be with other warriors, but sometimes he will need to practice the art of the sword alone. This is why, when he's apart from his companions, he behaves like a star. He lights up his allotted part of the universe and tries to point out galaxies and worlds to all those who gaze up at the sky. The warrior's persistence will soon be rewarded. Gradually, other warriors approach and they join together to form constellations, each with their own symbols and mysteries. And I wanted to especially talk about this chapter. Although every single chapter in this book is gold, any page that you read it truly resonates with your soul structure. If you are somebody who's a truth seeker, if you are somebody who has lived your entire life based on truth and not on lies, this book is your ally. So, on this fact of being by yourself and to test all of the skills that you have, to be able to test the gifts that you were born with, that is what this book is talking about. And there would be times when you feel so much alone that, oh, I'm going through all of this learning process by myself alone, and who is actually to tell me what I'm doing is right or wrong? Well, the truth of the matter is that there is nobody out there who would tell you you're doing right or wrong. Because the real guru actually sits inside of you, it's in your heart. Your heart is the God center, and you must listen to that. I know it's very difficult because it's rather easy to say than actually live that path. For example, in the morning when the alarm goes, and I know I should be up, although I might not even have had a great sleep the entire night, and I might be just thinking something or dreaming about some weird states, right? And there is no sense of deep sleep there, but still you don't want to get up. And you ask yourself why? And the answer is that because you know that you would be facing same sort of questions that you faced yesterday that you did not solve. And those questions might have been piling up now for way too long. The unresolved problems. So, about this question on problem, I watched a very nice documentary of Jiddu Krishnamurti, who was a great awakened sage. And I'm sure you all know about Jiddu Krishnamurti. If you do not, just find his videos on YouTube. What phenomenal talk he actually gives about the perspective and your mind and how that works and how that tricks you into the illusion. Because see, all of your problems are actually from memory, right? So you think that I had to do something yesterday, and well, I should have actually done that same task maybe years ago or maybe months ago. But now that's just been piling up, and you have already crossed the threshold, and you feel pretty much unprepared from the bizarre state that might just throw up into your life. Because you know that everything is got, every action that you do has got its response. So there's a cause and effect relationship. Now you know that having missed certain task that you wanted to do maybe last year, now you're going to pay for that. And you just might be very unprepared, right? So how do we solve this problem? What Krishnamurti talks about is there is actually no problem. The main thing is your idea of watching it like a problem. Like for example, you might as well see your problem like a simple thing. And what Buddha said, you are what you think. So if you think a thing is truly a problem, probably that would be a major problem. That would just act because that's how you have painted that picture in your own mind. But if you see to it with an ease state, and if you just watched for the reality of it and not truly magnify the magnitude of that problem, that's when you actually get to know that, oh, actually in order to be able to solve this problem, I just need to take probably 10 or 20 steps. Now, if you're scared, why should I take those 20 steps? You should be able to see the consequence of that, and you do not want to face those consequences. So that's why your answer is that you start with the first step, and then you go to the next, and then you do the next, And then you keep on going on in such a fashion. So, like Lao Tzu says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. How do you know you have a journey? How do you know where you actually proceed or plan to proceed ahead? You don't know any of that. However, there are these anxieties inside of you, which would in turn tell you that, oh, something is not right. So, probably that is your action zone. That is the place where you want to start and truly be able to take some meaningful steps and actions in that direction. Coming back to Krishnamurti's talk, he says that a problem is not truly a problem. You being so serious about the solution, because that's how we have been raised. As a child, as a small child, you are just told to solve these problems at school. And when that child grows up, goes to college, college and society tells you this is your curriculum, this is what you need to study, and this is what you need to sort to solve your physics problem, your mathematics problem, economics problem, whatever be the problem. But what was not taught to us was to truly look at the problem. Now, we, without having understood the problem, we directly think in terms of we have gone ahead to the next step, which is of solution. We need to come back to the problem and see for what it actually is. And to be truly able to see, that needs a lot of patience, because how we are taught, we want everything quick. We just want everything sorted, solved right now, very fast. But that's not actually the realistic way, because if you slow down and you see for the problem what it actually is, that means you need to deep dive further below that, and you need to be able to break down every single step for why do you do a thing the way you do. For example, you say that you have a problem with procrastination, for example, which I have. And every time I look closely at that, my whole answer is that I don't know. So you keep on procrastinating because deep down there is something that you don't know, and you feel you are unprepared, and you feel you need more knowledge, more awareness on that. And that in turn would make you face on corners of your own self, which you are not pretty much familiar with. And those are the darker sides of you, which you do not want to face your own self, because you rather would prefer to live in an illusion which says that, oh, yeah, I've already learned that, haven't I? I've already finished my school and education, and I'm such a matured woman now, so I already know all of that. I do not need to, relearn the chapters. I do not need to learn things anymore. I'm pretty awesome the way I am. But this is an illusion. See, there is a difference in confidence, in having confidence in the skill levels that you actually have, versus skipping this phase of not knowing. Gradually, as you evolve to the higher lessons of Taoism and Buddhism, and all of these great masters from the East, they all have said that to live in a Buddha and a Zen state of mind is to be with the unknown. And all our life, we try to evade that fact. We want to say that I know, I know. So that's why we put so much deep emphasis on knowledge. We never say that I don't know. Though in reality, look at the fact you don't know. And only when you agree to this fact, I don't know, from there, you can make, in the material sense, you make your ways to learn something. Like, for example, if you want to paint a picture, and let's say you have never painted, and this illusion that, yeah, I just know how to paint. This will be a very false assumption from a naive beginner who has never painted. But when you are in agreement with this fact, so that you actually zoom in and look at the problem statement and say, yes, the truth of the matter is, I don't know painting. So you take it from there. And then you look at videos on YouTube on how to paint, how to sketch. So then you go to Kmart or some place and you buy some colors and your sketching pen and your drawing pad. And then you pick up a very beginner lesson, like making a beautiful scenery of a mountain, of a house by the river, of two birds in the sky, of a blue colored boat in the river, of shining sun, of a farmer by tilling the land, of nice flowers and butterflies. So this is your scenario now. You look up on the internet, pick a picture, and you just start copying, right? Because deep down, if there is the desire that you want to paint, you also know that you there is a knack for that deep inside of you. So it's not to say that you would never learn how to paint. And who would teach you actually how to paint? It's you yourself. You are your own greatest teacher. You need not just blindly directly go to a teacher and ask and learn tips and techniques from him. Can you tell me this brush stroke? Can you tell me that, this, and that? All that would come later, but initially you need to start. You need to look at the scope of work. What is it that you are actually trying to learn? And do all of that experiment, because even if you are with a teacher, they would in turn tell you that, well, you need to do things in these way, and then you need to go about doing these things. Next week when you come and see me, I would want to test your homework which I gave you. Did you do that? So that means what? That means you do need to do and learn your homework. Having a teacher is great, because in the sense that if you are doing something wrong, they can correct it. Well, I don't know what is the best way and what is the right way. It's just a thing that works for you. So if you have found a right teacher for that, that's great. But if you're in conflict and your growth is slowed down by that teacher, it's time that you better do not depend on that teacher, and you rather learn from all of the sources that you have on internet, for instance. So in a day of information like today, you truly do not need to go out anywhere to learn something. You have everything at your fingertips. The problem is you are lazy and you do not want to put in the work, because somewhere inside you, you might think, oh, why am I putting in so much of effort, and why am I trying to learn this and that for what? And probably if you do not have that strong a sense of desire, there's no love for that thing that you're doing. So doing something matters as long as you have love for that, and not just for the heck of it, not just because you are just trying to run away from your problems, not just because you are somebody told you that this is a very cool thing to learn, and wow, that'll be so awesome, and I can win friends by doing that. Those all might be initial bait just to catch you, but in reality that is not going to keep you motivated for a really long time. So what does work is doing something that you love, and along with that also not stopping just because of the fear of being judged, not stopping just because of the fear of being criticized by others, or people making fun of you about what you are doing because they do not agree to that, right? So there are a lot of situations like this that comes up. The main thing is, are you truly serious enough to do something that you wanted to do, or are you just drifting? Well, an aimless life is also okay. That's fine as long as it does not bring you back to the same question, what am I doing with my life? And time and again, if you are faced with this question, that means you have a sense of hollowness and emptiness inside of you. That your soul wants to better reckon that thing and understand that this could not be filled with other things of buying materialistic things like houses and money stuffs. Whatever you consume at the consumption level is never going to satisfy your soul calling. And you go about consuming every single thing, the material thing, or even the relationships are your consumption. You say that I would feel fulfilled once I have this man or woman in my life, but that's not true. That again is a consumption because you are scared to face your own true self as who you are. And I understand that's scary, but that just does not mean that you do not do the inquiry, that you do not take that hard path. Also, that means you do not have to be a coward, you do not have to be a timid that you just run around in a mad chase for consumption, knowing fully well that that's not going to fulfill you. Use the things. It's like this. So you can use the tools and things, whatever is at your disposal, but you also need to be very mindful to see what is it exactly that would give you clarity. Because without clarity, your brain cannot operate well. That means a lot of awareness, that means a lot of self-awareness. And if you're constantly around people, you're living with too many people, you have absolutely given your space to someone else, and they would then come and take away your whole awareness, your state of mind. They would just manipulate that in many ways, which would take you a lot of time basically to come back to your center. Initially, that's a very good practice, that you have some self time alone, wherein you can introspect what is it going on, what is it that I truly want, what is it that I truly want to achieve, or not about achieving, just about what is it that gives my life a meaning, because a life unexamined is just not worth living. That's what Socrates said. So it's essential that you do not run away from your own self. You face your own demons, you face the problems that you have. And how do you do that? Well, to begin with, have a pen and a paper and just write down. I don't do that very often, but I'm saying this because, well, I did this experiment some time back, and well, I do these things right now as well, but not so often. I'll just be honest about that. Uh, However, for a beginner thing, that does help, because you might just write down. If you have a problem statement that you have been escaping to run away from, you just write it down and make a time. Like, for example, it's 11:30 here now in Sydney, and you just write down 11:32. That's what I do on my notepad, and I write it now. And what is the thing that I'm trying to achieve, in the sense of what is it that actually I've been escaping from? So it might be some sort of financial statement that I don't want to look at, because I think, oh, that's just too complex for me to understand. So then you break it down. How are you going to understand that? You might need to look up some videos, or you might need to get in touch with a financial consultant, or you might need to, you just need to figure out your way. There's nobody else who's going to do that for you. Do you understand that? There's nobody else for you who's actually going to solve your problems. Not your husband, not your father, not your brother, not your organization, not your government. It's you. You need to solve your own problems. You need to solve your own stuffs. There's nobody else who's going to do that for you. And the reason is that everybody is interested in their own selfish needs. So why would somebody spend their time? And that's why, for this reason, there were all these financial bodies and independent experts, and their services are available. So you can avail that. And again, it's not a sure thing that every time you hit up with a consultant, they're going to be of use to you. So I had a lot of experience where many times people would not give up and live up to their service as much how they charge me. But then there are times when well, they have done their job pretty well, and you are happy with their service. So you have two choices. Either you learn the thing so you do not have to outsource it to somebody else anymore, or you need to have trust. Trust in what? You need to experiment and be okay to fail. Be okay to enter this wild world with the reality being seen, and not assuming that it's a fairy world where everybody is there just to love me. You see to the reality of it, that you live in a forest. Life is like a jungle, and you do meet beasts and demons. And of course, you do feel disappointment with that when you are not dealt with the way you wanted to. But you just accept that, and then you move forward. That's why this book, Warrior of Light, says that when a warrior is faced with a defeat, he cries terribly and he feels the pain. It's not that the warrior does not feel the pain. But the thing is, the warrior has the strength to keep on going. He takes the rest. And he is just an example being given. It's for everybody. It's not gender specific. As long as you're alive and you have a life to live, and you do get into these situations, you need to learn. Every situation in your life is a learning. And if you understand that, challenging people and weirdos on the street are not going to affect you anymore, because you see to them, how are they going to teach me? And you take every single opportunity to learn. You take nothing for granted. Not one breath should be wasted in this life. So that's it I wanted to say. And have a great day, my friend. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.